But let's talk about this intimacy coordinator shit here.
And isolation, and this is the key to all of this. The key to, I'd say 95%, if not even more, of my criticism of stuff is because of the hypocrisy or the consistent narrative or whatever. A lot of stuff in isolation I don't care about. I've even talked about this with like Brie Larson's comments. I don't care about Brie Larson's 40-year-old white man comments in isolation. I cared about the hypocrisy and the fact that you couldn't say that about another race or gender of anyone else. But because she said it about a white person, suddenly it was okay and it was acceptable in the world of Hollywood. So everything that we talk about, generally speaking, is about the hypocrisy or the nonsense that surrounds Hollywood in general.
In isolation, this wouldn't be like the biggest deal to me with so many Star Wars things in production, but because of who it is, because of what show it is, I do think there's reason to talk about this. Star Wars declared worse and woker than ever after confirmation of intimacy coordinator hired for the Acolyte. Now, obviously, the Acolyte, ran by Leslie Headland, who's this, Jeremy?
That is Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Harvey Weinstein, the Harvey Weinstein, the father of Jennifer Lawrence's kids, that Harvey Weinstein. Yes, just want to point
Yes.
that out.
And this is a show that is taking place at the High Republic era, like 200 years before the prequels. It's starring Amanda Stenberg, I think that's her name, who identifies as non-binary, whatever. Very
It's a lot of
diverse, a lot of
diversity. It's a lot.
representation
Yes,
in this
there's a
show,
lot of
right?
diversity in that shot right there. And I just want you to know that if you criticize this show, you hate diversity.
Yes, and they do now have confirmation that for the first time that we are aware of in Star Wars history, they've hired an intimacy coordinator. Sexy Sith, the Acolyte's 8 episodes, has an intimacy coordinator attached. As the Acolyte continues to see recent news centered around it, we're now getting a story that will likely come as a surprise to many fans. Star Wars Covered Geekly has recently posted to Twitter that Adelaide Waldrop is listed as the intimacy coordinator for all 8 of the hour-long episodes of the upcoming series. And it is confirmed it's not just like some random thing. This is on this website that shows her as the intimacy coordinator, that shows her production credits. Right there, the Acolyte lead intimacy coordinator. Now, intimacy coordinator doesn't necessarily mean sex scenes, but that's usually exactly what it means. That's typically exactly what it means. And that would be a first for Star Wars. There's no doubt about that. Now, when you have so many different Star Wars things in production, do I particularly care if something goes a little more mature? Not necessarily. But when you do look at Star Wars, although romance is obviously it's not at the forefront of Star Wars, but it's a key part of it. You know, when you look at obviously the relationship between Anakin and Padme that leads to so many things, you can't deny that their relationship is a key cog to things that happen in the galaxy and in the story. But we've never seen any type of, sexuality like that in Star Wars, any sex scene in Star Wars. This could be the change of that. And it's all going to happen on a show that's being run by an activist lesbian who is happy about being an activist lesbian. And I think we all understand where this is likely leading in The Acolyte.
If only Leslie Headland would have hired an intimacy coordinator when she was working for Harvey Weinstein, maybe a lot of women wouldn't have been abused. But hey, she decided to write a story about it and be very vague about her experiences. But hey, she's an advocate for women. We don't want to speculate on any of that. In terms of this is more of the same with Disney Star Wars. They don't care about Star Wars. They don't like Star Wars. They don't like Star Wars fans. They don't respect George Lucas. They don't respect his creation. This is about Disneyifying Star Wars to their feminist propaganda agenda. That's what this is. And I think this is a massive red flag. When you look at who's behind this project and how the entire nonsense has been surrounding all of this with Disney Star Wars forever. Ultimately, this is not needed in any capacity whatsoever in a Star Wars production. We have seen how Lucasfilm and Disney, though, have pushed this nonsense. They want to push sexuality. They want to push all of that. We're literally having a drag show panel at Star Wars Celebration, for crying out loud.
Jeremy, Star Wars is for kids. What are you talking about?
Star Wars is for kids. We're just having a drag panel at Star Wars Celebration. It's all. So you bigots, you're just upset that your movie with space wizards and laser swords that's made for kids has a little bit of diversity, but yet we're having a drag show panel promoted by Lucasfilm as Star Wars Celebration. This is Disney Star Wars. So I would say this is a big problem. Pay attention to this. We're going to continue to cover this because I want to monetize the hell out of Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant as she moves forward in this project.
Yeah, I mean, ironic that Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant has hired an intimacy coordinator to make sure that there's no Me Too's on set. Yeah, weird how that works.
Weird how that one works indeed.